Good afternoon and welcome to Arkadiusz Milik's press conference. As usual, please introduce yourself and the media you represent, and please ask one question at a time. Let's start with JTV first. Welcome, Enrico Zambrono, Juventus TV. What I would like to ask you, what's the meaning for you to get here at Juventus? You are 28 years old, right in the middle of your career. Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's certainly a very special moment for me in my life because it's always been my objective to play in such a great club. And this is definitely a top club, one of the greatest in the world. So this is certainly something wonderful for me. But on the one hand, this was my objective, and so here I am. And then, of course, I want to bring an added value, so do something special. I want to play, I want to do my best, I want to score a lot of goals and be happy. Hello, Giovanni Albanese, Sport Italia, welcome. So the coach in the last press conference said that you could also play with Vlahovic. So did you have the chance to play together in the training on the pitch? Well, I just had few training sessions with the team, so also now we won't be having so much time for the training. So I know that I can also play with the two strikers because I did that very often in the national team with Lewandowski. So these are things that obviously will be up to the coach to decide, because it will be up to him to choose the team, the tactics, how we're going to play and when we play and all these things basically. So I will be doing what I can during the training in order to to demonstrate my value, and that's it. So obviously the choices will be up to the coach. Hello, Romeo Agresti. Well, your name has often been associated to Juventus. So in the past, you were also very close to Juventus. And when specifically? Well, yes, I was very close to Juventus, but basically then things went in a different way. So I've come maybe not that close to Juventus, but somehow, yes, my name was mentioned, in association with Juventus. And if I'm not wrong, 2-3 years ago, there was something quite considerable that something might have happened, but then in the end, we didn't reach a conclusion. But actually, I'm not looking back to the past. I'm very glad about the present. I'm very happy with this choice. I'm really very happy to be here. And as I pointed out before, I truly hope that we'll be able to score a lot of goals for this club. Hello, Paola Gemo, Sky Sport. Well, do you know Serie A very well? And now you spent some years abroad, so you probably watched it from abroad. So what about your expectations about the Serie A compared to a few years ago when basically Juventus created a huge gap compared to the other teams? So what about the other teams, Roma, that you played against on Saturday? You think they could compete for the Scudetto? Well, I don't really want to talk about Roma now, but as to the other teams, well, in general, about the level, obviously, is always very high. And now it has become definitely higher and higher, in my opinion, because up to 4 or 5 years ago, there were not so many teams playing for the Scudetto, competing for the Scudetto. Now we have so many teams competing for the Scudetto. So obviously, it's getting harder and harder and more difficult to win it. Giovanni Barsotti, Dazon, welcome back to Italy. So you had a very peculiar career because you were a great promise of Ajax, then you moved to Napoli. You started off very well, then you had a couple of injuries and some physical problems, and then we just lost track of you because you spent 1.5 years in Marseille, so you scored 30 goals. So what kind of Milik has just come back to Italy? What about your fitness? Have you been growing in terms of performance? Well, I feel very well from a physical point of view. I definitely feel very well. Well, as you pointed out before, I, scored all those goals, but then at the end of the story, what I did in the past doesn't matter anymore, because that's what modern football is all about. What really matters is what you are doing in this very moment, in the present. So, of course, if you play, you need to score. So, and then you will need to focus on the next match, because basically people don't look back at the past. So what I have achieved so far doesn't matter anymore. Now I'm ready to write some new pages, and this is exactly what is most important to me in this very moment. Welcome back to Italy, Arkadiusz. Nicola Gallo, Gruppo di Diapason. What I would like to ask you, you before talked about your capacity to play with another striker. So, as far as you know, does Vlahovic remind you of Lewandowski? What about your favorite position on the beach, 4-3-3, or maybe as a partner, another striker? Well, as to my favorite position, of course, while I'm a striker, my role is to attack and to score goals, and so obviously this is my main objective. I like to play alone, but also with the two strikers. So as I said before, it will be up to the coach to decide what team it will be lining up. Hello, Gianluca Denino, La Stampa. I would like to ask if you had a chance to take a look at the fixtures when you're going to play against Napoli, and what didn't work with Napoli, because you were very close to Juventus then, so probably there was a sort of gap in your career. Well, actually, I haven't really looked at the calendar, the fixtures yet, so I don't know exactly when we're going to play against Napoli. And what I know is that the next match will be against Spezia, and then I actually don't know when we're going to play in Naples. Well, what didn't work then? I just wanted to leave, and then things actually didn't go as we all wanted, and so basically I was not part of the squad anymore. Hello, Fabiana Della Valle, Gazzetta dello Sport. Well, I would like to ask you, you had lots of important coaches, Sampaoli, Sarri, and now Allegri. So what have you learned from all of them? Well, I would say that every coach is different from the others. We're all different, and we all see football in different manners. And I believe that you can learn many different things and obviously grow. Well, I've always wanted to pick up something from each one of them in order to improve and to become a stronger player. And I truly hope that I succeeded in this. Well, this is a quite difficult question to answer, because it's difficult to explain the differences between the various coaches. But actually, I had a chance to have great coaches, and I could grow thanks to all of them. Good afternoon, Arek. Sergio Baldini, Tutto Sport. So you spent some years in Napoli, and of course you were an opponent to Juventus. So as an opponent, what did you mainly admire? What did you fear of Juventus then? Well, I believe that those were very special matches to me when I was playing for Napoli, and also here when you play Juventus, of course, there are very special and important matches to play. Of course, I'm not the first, not even the last one that will be wearing both jerseys of both clubs, but you know, now I'm here at Juventus, and this is exactly what I do care about more than anything else. Hello, Arek. So what happened in the last few months at Marseille? Because in April you said you wanted to stay in France, and then probably you had this wish to come back to Italy. Maybe you heard some rumors about Juventus. Well, basically at the end of the league, yes, I wanted to stay in Marseille. I thought that there was a very good project for the team, but then things slightly changed, and so I told my coach, I realized that 7, 8 new players had arrived, and I also had the chance to play for a top club, and so I actually decided to make this choice. Hello, Arek, Timoteo Ormezzano, Corriere Torino. Well, I would like to ask you again if there are if there is anything similar between Vlahovic and Lewandowski. So can you see anything of Lewandowski here in your Juventus partner? Well, it's difficult to make comparisons between players, you know. Dusan is a very young player, certainly very strong one. Lewandowski is a different moment of his career, so they're both very strong. I believe that, as usual with the strikers, the numbers, the figures matter a lot. Well, in my opinion, Dusan can definitely improve a lot because he's just 22 years old, so there is definitely room for improvement for him, so there is a great future ahead of him. And then Lewandowski is already 34 years old, so obviously he is in a different moment of his life, so it's very difficult to make a comparison between these two players. If there are no other questions, yes, one last question. Can you just tell us something more about the first days you spent here at Juventus, the relationship with Szczesny? Who do you get on with in particular? So probably Szczesny was somehow a sort of a guide to you in these first days here in Turin. Well, with Wojciech, we have known each other since we played for the national team, so we have known each other for a very long time. Well, since I've arrived, the atmosphere and the ambience in the team is really very good. And the facilities also really remarkable here at Juventus. And I mean, I'm talking about the stadium, the pitches, the training center. So basically, we just need to focus on playing football, and everything else is organized. There are so many people working for the team. And so basically, we don't miss anything here. Thank you very much. And as usual, I would like Maurizio Rivabene, Pavel Nedved, and Federico Cherubini to take the usual picture.